Kansas Sports Chatter is back at it as we bring in our next guest, Mac Moore with Lawrence Sports. You can check out lawrencesports.com. You talk about covering Lawrence High, Free States, even starting to expand to some of those area schools as well. Stories, photos, videos. Make sure you check out lawrencesports.com. Mac, appreciate getting back on the show. This is kind of a unique and special year for gymnastics, with it being the final year of it being a sanctioned sport through CASA. And you look at, like your area, like Lawrence had its really time in the sun, like in the early 2000s. It seemed like getting state championships, and then Lawrence Free State a little bit after that. Then you saw kind of Olathe East have its turn, and now it's been Olathe North over the last 4 years. But talk about the final year and what it's kind of meant for gymnastics, just as a pure sport, as it comes to a close, at least as a sanctioned sport.
Yeah, I think with gymnastics, it's a very interesting sport because it doesn't always get the focus, it doesn't get the media hype, but man, all of those competitors put in so much work, so much time and effort. And if you've been out to a gymnastics competition, you'll see it where I think the thing that always has stood out to me is just kind of the camaraderie between all of the competitors, and that's kind of really been taken up a notch in recent years, because as it's sort of had a little bit of a decline in numbers, which is what's ultimately led to this being the final year of gymnastics. You've had these teams like in Olathe where it's Olathe North dominating, but Amanda Harrington, who's the coach of the program, is the coach of all of the Olathe teams. So she's
Wow.
out there and she's coaching Olathe West, Olathe South, Olathe East, and all those teams practice together. And so they all have this camaraderie. It's similar. Shawnee Mission, same way. Lawrence and Free State have both, for the entire time I've covered them over the last 5 years, it's been the Fire Lions is the nickname they have for themselves, because it's Lawrence and Free State. And they compete, their scores are separate, but they're all together, and they all have this kind of, just team concept, and they're all rooting for each other. And I think also, it's for that with those, Olathes and Shawnee Missions and things. But I mean, honestly, it's all of them rooting for each other. There is so much positivity in the sport. I was thinking back, the first one I covered was the 2021, the first of the Olathe North run, as they've won 4 in a row here. And that was the year. Was Ella Margheim was the one who, she was a club kid who decided senior year, just based on what she wanted to do. I think she was aiming to get a track scholarship, so she didn't want to spend all of the time focused on the club season as she would have, and instead wanted to focus on track. And then she's like, I still want to do gymnastics. So she went on the Olathe North team, ended up having the all around record at state. Brings home that state. Like I remember it was she had the Avengers theme as her the in game was the
Nice.
for the floor exercise. And I just, as soon as you watch her perform, she snapped her fingers and the competition turned to dust. She ran away with that title. And from there, Olathe North had really built stuff up. But I remember that moment at that floor exercise, and as soon as it was done, just every competitor just swarmed her, because she was the last one to perform. And that was kind of that closing out. And, they kind of have that for the way they do it. The previous winner ends up, or I think maybe it was the Sunflower League winner. I think it's the previous year winner ends up being the one that gets to be the final floor routine. And just having that moment, and most of the years it's been, Olathe North winning and getting that, have that final moment. But, you see that from a lot of the teams, and it's just been really cool. And then this last year, I think that was kind of the moment started by Margheim being, she kind of set the tone for club gymnasts finally making the jump to high school, because that's kind of where the numbers have gone down. It's not that there's not as many girls that are competing in gymnastics anymore overall. I don't know the total numbers, but I know that the high school numbers have gone down because a lot of them stick with club and don't come over. And it kind of made it where you just saw a bunch of competitors each year. Like that's how Lake North kept their run going. Was it was different club kids that were giving high school a shot instead of keeping with that club season. And last year it ends up being Sophie Beaumont who comes in. Beaumont was, a sophomore that comes in, and she's on a team with Emmy Keller, who was the two-time reigning champ, and just looked like she had it on lock and was going to leave with a third straight. And instead, it was Beaumont who delivered 2 perfect tens at state,
Wow.
and ends up, getting that, and ends up being that 1-2 punch of Olathe Northwest to not quite enough to be able to steal the title. I think they delivered like a 109 score, and then Olathe North just ends up resetting a record. That's just how loaded they were, how much depth they had, and they go with 112 and run away with it. But yeah, this year it was looking like Olathe North would just be on the path to do it again, get number 5. But right now, there's a chance. Shawnee Mission East, led by Andy Prindeville. Right now, Shawnee Mission East actually has the highest point total. They have a 109.950 as the top mark. And I'm looking at it. I know it's somewhere in the 108 is where Olathe North is the best one. I think it might be 108.550. So it's close. It's one of those things. And, final year, Olathe North, the 5 consecutive would be the record. That'd be the most in a row. And so it'll be very interesting to see if they're able to pull that off. Just having all of that, kind of that last hurrah moment. And I've been able to get out to one already at the Lawrence Invitational a few weeks ago. Really cool to see gymnastics just be able to show off one more time. And, I think of the events going forward, a lot of people probably circle state football on their calendar right now.
Sure.
One of the big ones for me, gymnastics, and just getting to see all those teams, put that final stamp on it. And, it'll be a little bittersweet, but I know with kind of that just positivity, they'll find a way to be positive about it and make something great out of this moment that, I wish this wasn't the end, but this is kind of where it's at. And I'll leave it to other people to explain how they're being replaced by girls wrestling is what ended up doing it. They're in a different season. And, it's not the sport of esports that is 80% boys. But anyways, I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but it still should be fun to see gymnastics have this final push here down the home stretch.
Unique season. Mac, appreciate the time.
Thank you.
That is Mac Moore with Lawrence Sports. Make sure you check out lawrencesports.com.